What's up, everybody? I'm coming at you from Black Lilac Studios. I'm Jody, here with Perch. Perch, can you please introduce yourselves and tell everybody what you play?
I'm Tig, and I play bass, and I sing some.
I'm Maka, and I play the guitar.
I'm Pablo, and I also play the guitar.
I'm Kevin, and I'm lead vocals.
I'm Rowan, and I play the drums.
Sounds like you guys are doing really good. How do you feel like you're doing?
Feeling great.
Good. I feel great too. I'm so glad you guys feel great. So, how long have you guys been a band? When did you guys form Perch?
So, this iteration has been around, I want to say, for maybe 2 years, but the band itself started like 4 years ago. Our first show was originally going to be on the day the shelter in place for the quarantine was announced, and so then we kind of went into hiatus and went through some band changes, and then settled on like who we have now.
So was Perch always the name that you guys wanted to use?
For me, I'd come up with it before the band. I was always like trying to think of band names because for me they're like really intimidating because it's so like it's right there. It's the first thing you see. And at that time in my life, I was really into bands like Microwave and Basement, and so I just really wanted like a one-word band name. I just liked how like on the nose they were. And I was also going through a really bad breakup at the time, and it's kind of corny, but our like pet names for each other were like bird related. So we would always talk about like perching on things. Like if one of us was sitting somewhere, we'd reference like, oh, that we were perching there instead. So it was just like very relevant to my life and what I was going through at the time. I felt like having something personal.
That's amazing. When you add that personal touch to the name, that makes it mean like that much more for you. Can you give an example of what perching might look like?
Tig, can you?
So there's a perch for everybody.
It's very
right
aggressive
there.
perch.
Very.
That's if you're in like mating, if you're trying to attract a mate.
It's very possible that that's what he's trying to do. So who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
To mate.
the whole point of the band.
So can anybody name or describe something funny that might have happened on one of your tours or one of your shows? Do you suddenly blank out? Because I do that. Yeah. That's okay. If nothing funny happens. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go, Rowan.
It kind of sucks for Tig. It kind of sucked for Tig, but like we pulled out at a rest stop last time we came down south to play. In like right before Paso Robles, I think, somewhere around there, and Tig was like lying on the grass out there, and there was like this big chunk of ice, and I was like, huh, that's weird, like it's just ice out here in the hot sun, you know. And Tig was laying there, so I just kicked the ice onto him, and he started freaking out, and I didn't know why, and he told me it was like from a urinal or something, like they put ice in urinals down here, I guess.
Oh, no, so here's the thing.
You kicked a urinal cake at Tig.
No. It was yeah, so that wasn't actually urinal ice. I was fucking with you, and then I don't know if you realize that I was fucking with you also, but we were fucking with each other. But it was gross. I mean, it was dirty, gross ground ice, but I hope it didn't have piss on it. I don't think it did, but it was gross. I would have preferred if you didn't kick that on me. But
All memories, right?
there was that time that you and me were slapping each other after our show, and then they told us that we had to stop because we were making them uncomfortable. That was at the Blue Lagoon. Him and Taylor got into a body blows fight, and then I was like, I want to fight the winner, and then Rowan won, so I started fighting him, and then someone came up and was like, hey, this is making us uncomfortable. You guys need to stop hitting each other.
So, Tig, it sounds like you're the great contender. You're the big fighter in the group. Is that true?
I don't know. Am I the one who has gotten my ass kicked the most times in the group? Anyone got more than like 2?
Let me see those guns, Tig. Let's see those guns. So what genre of music would you guys say Perch falls under?
Dreamcore.
That's not
Okay.
I'd say it's kind of pop punk. It's kind of emo, like the newer wave of emo that's going around. The term post emo has already been taken, so I don't want to like plagiarize another band with that. Although it's very accurate. Just kind of like that. Bands a lot like Free Throw and Hot Mulligan are like things that I I akin some of our music to. But we also delve into like punkier kind of stuff sometimes as well.
So I know you mentioned a couple of the bands that are your influences. What other bands kind of do you pull together or pull from in order to create your music?
Totally. Well, yeah, I've already said a few, so I mean,
We're gonna take thing to think about it.
Yeah, we all have pretty different influences, but definitely some overlap. I think Taking Back Sunday is probably like a big reason that this band kind of got together.
Tell all your friends.
Pablo and I had a Taking Back Sunday cover band. We just did one show together, and that's kind of how I ended up in Perch because Pablo and Kevin were founding members. And I know we were I personally, Jack's Mannequin, all of Andrew McMahon's stuff is a big influence for me. I'm into a lot of pop. I'm into, Taylor Swift and Machine Gun Kelly and that kind of stuff. But I'm into a lot of old school punk. The Germs are one of my favorite bands. Dead Kennedys, Jello Biafra is one of my heroes. So I try to just bring all that kind of, and I grew up on like classic rock and progressive rock and all that like old people stuff now. So I like it all, all the rock, and I try to get a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, totally. My influences aren't very much of this genre, but I truly love Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead and how aggressive he is, and I like to mimic that a lot in the way that I play. But I feel like we sound a lot like Sorority Noise and like Joyce Manor. And
I've heard Joyce Manor from people.
We've heard Blink-182. It's a
Yeah, my parents said that we sound like Linkin Park, but I think that's more of just like their lack of knowing or whatever. But
Who's Chester?
Yeah,
Which
thanks.
one of you's Chester if you sound like Linkin Park?
I would definitely say Kevin
Kevin?
there. Yeah.
can't take that honor, but
That's a big honor right there.
Honor,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I go through like a bunch of different phases musically, but I would say for like this particular thing, like I like think about Title Fight when I'm like working on music and stuff. Like they were one of my favorite like emo bands like after the initial like couple waves that came about, and I really liked what they were doing. But yeah, like Joyce Manor also, all this stuff in that realm.
Rowan, how about you?
Oh, my musical influences?
Your influence.
Huh. Well, I grew up like only playing jazz really, and like stuff like Latin music and like the Beatles and stuff. And then I started like I got like an iPod and like downloaded a bunch of music, or like came up upon a bunch of music that was more interesting to me. Like I really fell in love with like progressive rock, like and like metal and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Like I go through phases like all the time. I mean, shit. One of my favorite bands right now is probably like the Yusuf Dayas Trio or something. I don't know. Or like one of my favorite all-time bands is Parliament. Like I also love hip hop, whatever, like anything.
Sounds like you guys have a wide range of musical influences, but what I'm hearing is like definitely rock. You guys are definitely got that rock influence there.
yeah, I definitely try and lean towards like pop punk. I just like to have like the kind of poppier elements to some of our songs. Not all of them, but I like to feel like people can jump and you know,
have a good time
catchy
at shows.
tunes. Yeah.
Excellent. So what are you guys playing for us tonight?
Tonight we're gonna be playing "If You Can't Save Me, Space Invade Me." It's a song I wrote kind of for my friend Brad, who passed away when I was, I think I want to say 23, and it's also just about that time in my life. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear this, that it's such an important song for everybody. And last but not least, what do you guys have anything else that you guys would like to say to everybody before we get started with your show?
We have our first single coming out September 7th on all platforms. It's called Thrives on Vibes. We produced it ourselves. I did all the mixing and all that stuff. We worked really hard on it. We have a bunch more tracks coming after that, but we really want to get this one out there, and we hope you enjoy it.
I was just gonna say we did have it mastered by Mike Kalajian. Was it Kalajian? Where is it? Rogue Planet Mastering. He did an awesome job. He's mastered a bunch of bands that I really love, so I was really excited to have him do that.
Excellent.
Shout out to Scowl. And then we also have a show coming up in Santa Cruz, 2 shows, September 1st and September 7th, both of them at the Blue Lagoon. So
Santa Cruz, Blue Lagoon, September 1st and September 7th. You'll see Perch. All right, Perch, thank you guys so much for coming and being part of Black Lilac's interview. And here is your song.
thank you.